Okay, this tutorial is going to be a quick, short one, and it is going to contain instructions on how to complete a crochet beaded bracelet. Really simple. The only stitch you really need to know for this is going to be a slip stitch and a single crochet. So first, we're going to take our yarn. In this case, I've used Simply Soft, just a periwinkle color. This would work good with pretty much any kind of yarn you have, whether it's Red Heart, Simply Soft, Burnett Baby, anything that's going to be relatively not too thick. Maybe even crochet cotton would be okay. You will also need anywhere from 40 to 50 pony beads. These are going to be the smaller pony beads, similar to the kind that you use if you ever cornrow your kids' hair and you put beads on the end. These are going to be the same kind of beads, just a little bit smaller. Like I said, the smaller pony beads. You can get them in a bag, multicolored, for about $2 at any craft store. You also need a G-sized hook. If your crocheting is really big, an F would be fine, but G is what I prefer. I'm going to use an F today just because I can't find my G needle. You're also going to use one little bitty square of aluminum foil just to make the beading of the yarn a little bit easier. So we'll go ahead and get started. If you have any questions, you can email me on my YouTube or Yarn Candy by Cherie at Gmail. I'd love to be of any assistance. So let's get started. I have pre-strung some of my beads on the yarn already, just to get things moving along, but I will go ahead and show you how I did it. I used a really easy method that I came up with. Instead of spending money on a needle for beading, a bead needle, I just use aluminum foil. So what I do is that I take yarn and I put it on a piece of foil, and then I'm going to fold it over quite a few times. And what you're going to do is essentially end up twisting this. And what it will do is that it's going to make your yarn tip pretty much function as the needle, and by twisting it like this, you're going to enable it to go through the pony beads, and it's going to save you some time. So see, you just go through, and for the beads, you can use any color. You can variegate them. I just randomly put on any color blue beads, sorry, for this purpose. And again, you just go through, and I have strung about 50 of these for this bracelet. There. So what you have is you're going to have your beads like this, and you'll be beading as we go along. Now this bracelet is going to turn out similar to this one, even though this is variegated in color. I just want to show you what it's going to look like. It's going to have anywhere from 9 to 10 rows. This is just some yarn that needs to be woven in. The back of it is going to have this spine. That's going to be where we've joined each row. And then your beads are going to be randomly placed. So if you use a variegated color, it gives you a really pretty effect without doing a lot of work. Again, I just used periwinkle just because it was near me. So we'll go ahead and get started. Now, after you've gone ahead and you've beaded this, you're going to go ahead and cut the foil off because you don't need it anymore. Again, a really quick method. I like it because you won't need to purchase a yarn needle. Excuse me for just 1 second. Okay, I actually found my G needle, so we're good to go. So what I've done, I'm going to start this by doing a slip knot, which most of you already know how to do. You always leave a little bit so that you can go back and weave that in. And what we're going to do, we're going to end up crocheting a series of rows. Each row is going to have about 40 stitches in it, and it's going to have about 5 of your beads in each row. At the end of each row, we're going to join it until we've completed the project. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to tell you that you don't want to crochet too tightly. If you use a G needle, this should turn out perfect for you. You want the bracelet to be able to slide over the person's wrist without any problems, but you also don't want it to be too big where it's going to fall off. Okay, so I'm going to take that loose and start over. We're going to crochet 40 stitches, 40 chains, and then we're going to evenly place 5 beads. All right, so I'm going to place, for this row, I'm going to place 1 bead in every 8th one, every 8th chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8th chain is going to be where my bead is, so before I do the 8th chain, I'm going to slide my bead all the way up, yarn over, and then close the stitch. So that's going to be the 8th one. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 is where the bead is going to be, so we're going to slide the bead up and close it off. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Slide the bead up. That's 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32 is where your bead is going to be. Yarn over, close a stitch. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40 is where the last bead would be. So we're going to go ahead and slide that bead up and close that off. So this is what your chain is going to look like with the beads in it. Pretty simple. You don't have to worry about perfection with this project. If your line becomes twisted, that's perfectly fine. This is a really good beginner project too. So to close this off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to join this end to the very first stitch that I created way back here. So I'm going to go ahead and go in under 2 loops, and then I'm going to go ahead and close it with a slip stitch. Really easy, okay? If you're worried about your tension, then what I would suggest to do is to, before you close it, just wrap this around your wrist just to see where you're going to be at. Like I said, you don't want it too tight and you don't want it too loose, so that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and reclose this here at the end with the slip stitch. There. Now, for row 2, we're going to go ahead and chain 1, and then we're going to go right back in that same slip stitch, and we're going to go ahead and do our single crochet. And close that. That's what's going to give us a spine that's going to be up the center back That's going to help anchor everything together. And then as you do this bind, you're going to end up crocheting over this so that beginning piece of yarn is going to go away real easy. So for the second row, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to spread my beads out a little bit different. Instead of every eighth, I'm going to go ahead and do one at the beginning and then one every 10 chains. So here's my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is where the bead is going to be. So I push the bead up, close 10 off. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. The next one is 20. That's where my next bead would be. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that up. That's 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. This is where 30 would be. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. The very last one is 40. Slide the bead up, close that. There's our second row. And then we're going to go ahead and join that. So, what I like to do with this is I physically turn this 360 degrees so that I end up right back at that original single crochet, which is right here. And then I'm going to just join that with a slip stitch. So go in and close that off. And that's what that's going to look like. So every row you're going to start it with a chain 1. And then in the same stitch where you joined it, that's where you're going to do your single crochet. That's going to be how you do every line. Close that off. And then you're going to do your series of 40 chains with the beads intermingled in there. You're going to do that for 10 rows, 9 or 10, depending on how many beads you put. You're going to use up all the beads. And then part 2 of the video is going to show how you close that off and then how you weave in the ends. And that's going to be our project. So I'll do one more row just for you, and then we'll go ahead and go to part 2. So I'm going to go back to doing one bead in every 8th chain. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Put your bead up. That makes 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 24 is where your bead would be. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. 32 is where a bead would be. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40 is where your last bead would be. Again, I take our base here and I give that a 360 degree turn so that I can join this right in that last single crochet with a slip stitch there and keep it moving. And you're going to notice that it's going to look like a little rib cage when you're done, but that's pretty easy. Once you do like the second or third bracelet, this will take about 5 minutes from the time that you put the beads on. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and then I'll be back with part 2 so we can show you what the finished product looks like.